Greetings, my beloved Black people. Welcome back to the plight and struggle of Black people in America. As we spoke yesterday, we were talking about topics that will help our boys become men and our girls become ladies. We skimmed the surface of those, and we said that we'd come back today and speak on those topics and dig a little deeper. So that's what we're going to do. And fortunately for me, we have a guest, Mr. Eric Johnson, that's going to help us carry this endeavor out. I think that's going to work really well. Mr. Eric Johnson, how you feeling, sir? Is everything going all right? Can you hear me? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So.
Hold on, just a second.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
Okay, I can hear you.
I can't. Check.
I can hear you.
Let me come out and go back in.
Okay, sounds like a plan. It should be just momentarily before the brother makes it back, and we'll get started on those topics. And we'll dig a little bit deeper than what we had yesterday. And like I had mentioned also, Sundays at the Plight and Struggle of Black People in America, we talk about prominent Black people from today and yesterday. Hello, Mr. Johnson. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Brother Gray?
Great. And yourself?
I'm blessed, man. Thankful to be here with you.
Absolutely. I've been telling the people that you're going to help us out with these topics that could help our boys become men and our girls become ladies. We had spoke on it yesterday on the surface. So I felt like, these topics that we ran across at the Plight and Struggle of Black People in America, I could present them to you, and perhaps you could maybe give us a spin on what it makes you think about. And
yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I appreciate you being willing to come. That's what I appreciate. But anyway, the first topic that we're going to deal with is learn who you are as an individual. And it says, figuring out who you are, what you care about, what you believe in, and what you stand for is the most important and most difficult challenge of becoming a man or a lady. We're all raised with people telling us what to think, how to act, and what to say. Sometimes those people are parents, teachers, ministers, and other so-called authorities. Sometimes they are our friends and peers. Most of the time, given the choice, we seek the easiest path, the path of least resistance. We go along to get along. Sometimes that's okay, but it's those instances when you opt for a different path that can really define you as an individual. The important thing is you make those decisions for yourself, not out of spite against authority figures or because of peer pressure or even out of fear of losing someone's affection, but out of conviction of who you are and who you want to be.
Wow. That's a great point. And one thing about developing leaders, children, adults along the way is teaching them to trust their gut, for lack of better words, trust your intuition, because a lot of the outside people around you, they're all going to have an opinion, but you have to know who you are and trust your own intuition along the way.
Absolutely. And see, that's probably something our children especially need to be taught, because so unfortunate is that we go through the public school system for 12 years and learn almost nothing.
Wow, right.
Unfortunately, so unfortunate. But anyway, sir, let's go to the next one. It's always so much to talk about. Yes, sir. Stand up for yourself and your beliefs. There was a famous statesman that once said, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Okay, it's not enough to have lofty ideals and belief. You sometimes have to actually get off the couch and defend those beliefs. This is especially hard when you're hanging with your friends and they all express an opinion that is the opposite of yours. Because you're outnumbered, it's easy for them to ridicule your opinion. Be strong, defend your opinions and beliefs. If you think it's wrong to be racist, but someone in your group says something racist or sexist, then tell them you don't agree and that you don't think they should make such statements. That's how these verbal bullies are eventually defeated. More important, you'll feel proud that you took a stand. Those moments you do nothing will haunt you for a long time.
Once again, great point, and it's back to individuality again, and knowing who you are, and in those tough moments that you have to stand up for yourself, you realize that you're standing on a set of morals and values that you believe in, not what someone else believes in. So if it's a matter of race, religion, sex, discrimination, somebody just doing something that you just don't agree with and it violates your personal moral compass, then that's something that you should be proud to stand up for. Now, I will put a disclaimer on that, Brother Gray. When we don't agree with something or something is real strong with our belief, typically it's tied into our emotional strings, the strings of our heart. So we have to learn how to stand up for ourselves, speak eloquently, not be disrespectful to the person just because we don't agree, but learn how to communicate our moral compass, to other people in a very respectful way.
That's really true. Seem like you're
Yes, sir.
built.
Yes,
Seem like you're built for these topics.
You start talking about building character, just to let the viewers know, I wrote a book called The Switch Within,
Oh
and
yeah.
it was a personal thing for me. So a lot of these topics, I'm excited to talk about them anyway.
Right. I can believe
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah. The next
Yes,
one
sir.
is avoid a physical fight if you can. You're probably thinking that easy for you to say, but sometimes when you're a boy, it seems like you're bullied and there's various people around you. And that's why you can trust when I say that fighting is almost always a mistake. There's a proverb that says the man who throws the first punch has lost the argument. That means that when an argument turns into a fight, it's because the one starting the fight realized he isn't smart enough to win verbally, so he resorts to violence. It's normally the dumbest guy who resorts to violence. What do you do if someone threatens you with violence? You walk away, even run away if necessary, even if you're pretty sure you could take them. Bad things can happen in a fight, even if no one means them to. Someone can take an unexpected fall and crack their head and possibly lose their life.
Wow. That's a real deep point. And I'll approach it this way. There was a time I was at a job, of all things, feeling personally threatened by an individual. And there was a guy there. He was from Uganda.
Mm.
And I mean, I was hot. And I want to be real with your viewers just to say what I really did. Well, I listened. There
Mm.
was a guy right there from Uganda, and he said, Eric, you're ready to go out back with this guy, throw away your whole career. You'd have to claim superiority. And so when you're threatened with physical violence, or if you're thinking about fighting someone, like you said, it's typically the lowest of the two individuals mentally.
That's true.
And you have to claim superiority in that situation. And a lot of times, 10 times out of 10, Brother Gray, that means walking away. That means de escalating the situation,
Right.
even if you think you're right, because things can get out of hand real quick. And I mean, you and I both know that, especially when you're grown. A lot of grown people, they don't have time for childish games. So I'll say this for the adults and the children:
Mhm.
slow down, take some deep breaths, and claim superiority in that situation.
All right, I like the language you're using. That's great. I love that. Because
Yes,
words
sir.
are used
Yes,
so many times in the context that they're used can make a real valuable difference. How it can impact,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
and help us
Yeah,
make
that was a
choices.
real life situation, and I mean, it was over money. I was in the sales business.
Hmm.
Lord knows I didn't want to be out back sliding around in my suit and dress shoes. But
Right.
that was a real situation. And that was
Hmm.
some real good advice that
Yeah.
I need to be the superior in this particular matter.
Yeah, yeah. I know
Yeah.
I've never seen the word superior used in that manner. That's why I'm liking it because it's so relevant and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
fits so well. So, and I love
Yes,
words.
sir.
So, yeah, it's almost
Absolutely.
like you created
Absolutely.
something. Yeah. So,
Come
yeah. The
on.
next topic is play a team sport. It's like I'm all for individual sports, but playing on a team teaches you how to interact with others, adjust to various personalities, work together as a team, be generous, and many other character building traits. The cool part is that you don't have to join an organized team. You can just go down to the playground or open gym and play pickup basketball or volleyball.
Team building. Team sports, it encourages team building, understanding how to work in a group, realizing somebody is going to always do more than what they need to be doing in the group, and
Hmm.
somebody's always not going to be doing what they're supposed to be doing in a group.
Oh man.
Uh, I played ball, and one thing I learned from playing ball is I had to learn how I played football and basketball, but this is a
Hmm.
football analogy. Sometimes you have to block. Sometimes you got to block hard for your teammate and see them make a touchdown. And
Right, right.
so if you get excited about blocking just as you do about scoring, then you understand the whole meaning behind teamwork and
That's
about
what it sounds like.
building culture.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like I
Absolutely.
mean, a lot of these a lot of these championship teams, they go all the way because it's the culture
Hmm.
on the team. And so
Right,
when you're a child and you're playing youth sports, team ball, it's different playing at the rec or playing at the park than playing under the whistle in
right, right.
whatever sport you're playing.
That's
And
correct.
so, yeah, team building, team culture, definitely something that, everyone should be a part of.
I totally agree. Actually, it's a great experience.
Yes, sir.
I've been
Yes, sir.
on team sports before, junior high and maybe high, but in junior high it was basketball. High school was bowling, and then junior high I made the team, but unfortunately I was a bench warmer of
Oh
basketball.
wow, it's okay. It's okay. Sometimes you
I
got
was
to
on the
watch
team,
because
so hey.
yeah, let me make a point to the kids or your viewers watching. You have to stay ready to keep from getting ready because if you're on the bench, think about Tony Romo for the Dallas Cowboys. He was sitting
Yeah,
on the bench,
yeah, it was.
and he got the opportunity of a lifetime, brother Gray. And
I
so
was being
in
prepared.
my book, I just want to drop this that I said proper preparation prevent a poor performance. So you could have been on that bench, but guess what? I know
Mhm.
you was ready to go in.
Yeah, I was sure hoping I could go in.
You feel me?
Yeah, but usually
Yes,
when you're on the
sir.
bench in sports, you're probably not the best fellow on the team.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
part of it. Okay, on the next
Right.
topic is choose your friends for the right reasons. Good friends can see you through a lot of the tough parts of growing up, but bad friends can actually be the cause of some of those tough parts. Don't hang out with kids just to piss your parents off or trying to be something that you're not. You waste a lot of your youth that way and miss out on some meaningful friendships.
Brother Gray, I have 5 kids and
Mm,
friendships, we have stages and there's an old cliche that says season, reason, or a lifetime. And I like to apply that with friends. And one thing that I always tell my kids, even
mm,
my oldest, 29, RJ, all the way down to, Erica, the baby, is once again, like point number one, trust your gut. You know
mm,
if a person is maybe not in your best interest or have your best interest at heart. A lot of times it's not about what you say in a friendship, it's about what you do.
Hmm.
And choosing friends is I've been burnt on that so many times that I got good at it. But those friends that were
Oh man.
for a lifetime, they're actually still around.
You
So
feel me?
that's
I know you can
that's
appreciate
the
that.
beauty.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
That's such a blessing. I tell you what, we'll
Yes,
do
sir.
one more topic and then we'll just have to visit this another day and get this
Let's keep
finished.
going. Let's keep going. I got time tonight if you do. I got
Okay,
time.
okay, okay. Well,
Yeah,
we'll go with how
yeah.
it feels. Okay, the next one is fight your fear of the unknown. We all have a tendency to hate what we don't understand, whether it comes in the form of different food, different cultures, or different ideas. There was a Yale study in which researchers examined the brains of people as they were presented with proof that an opinion they held was wrong. MRIs showed that when those people immediately rejected the new evidence, their brains released an additive chemical that made them feel good. In that way, our own bodies are actually encouraging our ignorance and fear. Fight that impulse. Becoming a man or lady means growing, learning, and understanding, not cowering under a blanket with a handful of comfort notions. By the way, don't confuse physical bravery with intellectual bravery. It's easier to jump out of a plane, hopefully with a parachute, than it is to change your mind about an opinion. Acts of physical bravado will give you an initial rush, but exploring a new culture or examining a new idea will mature you and make you the kind of person others will be interested in.
Fear of the unknown, man. That's what paralyzes people in life, brother Gray.
Hmm.
Um, Typically, they don't step out of their comfort zone because they just don't know. People like to do the same things all the time.
Right.
Typically, the typical individual likes to get up, go to school, come back home, do a little homework, get on the internet, whatever else. The parents get up, go to work, take them to school, go to work, come home, drink a beer, drink some tea, go to bed,
Hmm.
etc. So, and they do that as a cycle. Fear of the unknown, guess what it does, Brother Gray? It stretches you.
Hmm.
It stretches you because if you're stepping out into something you have no knowledge of, let's just, for the sake of argument, call that faith, which
Okay.
is kind of believing in something you can't see. If
Hmm.
it's unknown, you can't touch it, you can't see it, you can't feel it, but you can believe in it.
Right.
And so that's where, our children in this day and age, they're doing exceptional in that area as far as growing way past where I was
Hmm.
when I was a teenager. My son, Carl, this boy knows so much about so many things because he's always on the internet,
Right.
uh, researching. If he doesn't know about it, he doesn't really possess that fear. And I would say that's my boldest child. And I feel he's growing the most.
Right.
It's
Right.
really,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, man, 5 children, that's got to be 5 blessings. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. Everyone. And I have a grandbaby now. So I've been blessed in that area as
Oh
well.
man, that's great, man. I
Yes, sir.
love to see people happy, man. Especially black people happy. I love that.
Absolutely.
Listen to advice. Whatever troubles and doubts you're feeling, billions of males and females before you have gone through the same thing. Your dad probably knows exactly how you feel most of the time because he can remember the same pain and anxiety. Listening to people's advice doesn't always mean taking it. You have to decide which advice is right for you. But it might be a good idea to collect some quotes from those who came before you so you can refer to them when you need to. I'm going to mention this one philosopher that said, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. That means if you don't learn from the experiences of others and yourself, you will end up making the same mistakes over and over. So when someone gives you advice, don't dismiss it just because they're older than you.
There you go. And
Yeah,
that has a lot to do with the term respect your elders.
right.
And that's one thing that I was raised to do And so that proverbial wisdom that they provide has been invaluable to me down through the years. You know,
Mm.
you're talking about listening to advice, just my mom and dad, great people, you know, giving me that advice to, you know, learn and do what I know is right, stand on my, you know, morals and principles, teachers, coaches, even you, Brother Gray, as far as being my mentor, you know,
Oh
since I
yeah.
was 15 years old, and
Oh
I won't
yeah.
say how old I am tonight, but I'm almost 50.
Okay.
So you spoke advice to me down through the years, and you know, I hate to say it, but look at me now. I'm came a long way from where
Yeah.
you met me. You follow me?
Oh man, yes I do. And that's a
And I definitely
blessing of
salute you for the advice that you gave me because here's the thing about kids. They can smell and they can sense when you really care and you really love them. And that's
I
what I could
believe
sense
that.
from you, Brother Gray, even as a
Yeah.
teenager. You know, I could tell you cared. And you know why? Because you were consistent. You know,
Hmm.
you always spoke a word into me. You always presented me with a gift, and you always presented me with a speech. You know, something encouraging,
Yeah.
something, you know, for myself, just to know who I am, where I'm from, what I represent, and that I'm a part of greatness. So as
Absolutely.
I got older, a lot of that advice came to fruition
Right,
in my
right,
mind. You
right,
know,
right. And not
yeah.
to mention all these research and tools that we have these days, so we can verify so many
Oh
things.
man. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So yeah,
but
definitely listen to the wisdom that's around
absolutely.
you.
The
Yeah.
next one is be politically aware. One clear difference between children and adults is an awareness of your community outside of your circle of friends and family. The world is constantly changing. Whether it changes for the better or the worse depends on the actions of those willing to get involved. Children who don't know anything about their world try to hide it by saying, I don't really care. It doesn't affect me. But that just confirms that they wish to remain children and have adults tell them what to do and think. Part of being a man or lady is to be informed so you are prepared to take an active and responsible place in your society. Read newspapers, magazines, watch the news, discuss these subjects with your friends, but always while respecting each other's opinions.
You know, it's kind of a tricky question for me because politics, boy, I tell you. But one thing I did get from what you said, and I guess it's definitely political, is understanding your community
Mm-hmm.
and realize that it's bigger than just your little circle. You know, it's actually a bigger circle around you where you can say, well, that's my subdivision, and an even bigger circle around that, which may be your city, your state, your country, and so forth. And so when we start caring about our community, then it does raise our awareness politically. You know, we start realizing how the schools, the taxes, road and bridge, and you know, different things that affect our community, we start realizing that, hey, that stuff is important and we need to lobby and get behind candidates. That's why it's so important to vote. You know, we have to get behind some people that actually represent what we believe and what we
Right,
feel is our personal belief. Now, if you have a different belief than me, that, you know, doesn't really matter to me. We're all human, we're all different. But if we all care about the community,
right,
then that, you know, definitely will, you know, be good for the community if we can work with other people that may have different views.
right. And my passion is definitely with the youth, but I love every generation of our people.
Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. Yes, sir.
The next one is mind your manners. When you're a child being told to firmly shake hands, keep your elbows off the table, or ask guests if they like a drink, it all seems like a load of dumb and arbitrary rules. Some of it is, but part of becoming a man or a lady is the realization that it doesn't matter whether or not the rules of manners make sense. What matters is the effect of following these rules. People appreciate the effort and respect shown them. In return, they will show you respect.
Wow. I
Mm.
like that. I like
Oh
that
yeah.
because a lot of these children this day and age, even a lot of the adults, gotten away from just simple manners. You know, please,
Mm.
thank you. yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am.
Mhm.
And even, my kids to this day, when they come into the room, they know to speak. It's just something that,
Right, right.
I stood on for years. And when it makes me feel good when I, have gone to their schools and people
Mhm.
say, you're
Oh yeah,
that's
you
so
gotta
and
be.
so. They are so mannerable, and I'm
Oh
thinking
yeah,
it was a lot of training in that. But that's what we got to
absolutely.
get back to as well, Brother Gray, which is instilling those core values and, teaching our children manners, whether they're our children or not. You got to kind of be careful. It ain't like back in the day.
Yeah.
Because,
Well, I'm
yeah,
glad you
you
said something
know,
about getting back to some things because see, it's interesting. I'm thinking about getting back, but I'm thinking, did we ever get there? And I'm thinking about volunteerism inside the schools. That's what I'm
yes,
referring
yes,
to.
sir.
But I have to be honest. I mean, I did the schools more than 25 years, and it wasn't an overload of men volunteering, unfortunately. It
Mm,
wasn't an overload of anybody volunteering, but there were always more women than men volunteering at the schools.
wow.
I had noticed that. But as individuals, we can only do our part. And I did what I could, and I'm going to keep doing what I can. But we're going to do one more of these, Brother Johnson, and then
Okay.
we're going to have to move on. And
Just yeah, just before we do that, I just
mm,
want to commend you on your work in the school system. And doing it for 25 years shows your dedication and commitment to that cause. So I just want to applaud you, for taking that stance for that long, because we do have to get back to some stuff. And
yeah.
having good teachers, having good volunteers like yourself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's not there, but when the teachers are more concerned with the salary than they are the kids, things kind of get a little twisted. And so, to have good people like you in our school systems for 25 years, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Mr. Johnson, you mentioned the teachers, but unfortunately, we have to look further than that and look at the district itself because unfortunately, we know that a lot of their focus and thoughts is on attendance just to get the dollars from the state and just to pass this TIES test or whichever test it is.
Come
And the
on now.
children end up not actually learning anything, you see.
And you can
And
have a kid that's phenomenal, like phenomenal in school, do all the work. These standardized tests have been crippling children where they can't graduate. They can't, get
mm-hmm,
to where they need to get because of some tests. But you're right. I live in DeSoto, and not to shade the district, but they've had some issues
right.
down through the years, and so it doesn't make you feel good at all, to send your kids to school where, like I said, a lot of the teachers, they're competing for pay. The
Mm-hmm,
districts are competing for numbers, like you said, how many
mm-hmm.
kids can we get on the
Right,
roll to
right,
get this
right,
big fat check from the state?
right.
And but it's not about any of that. It's about the children.
It's supposed to be about the children. It
No,
is
that's
for
what it's
people like
about.
us,
But yeah,
not for those dollar chasers, right? Unfortunately, you know,
that's terrible.
it's
Yeah,
it's a shame and it hurts. It hurts. But we are the
yeah,
rebuilders, right? We're gonna be the
absolutely.
rebuilders. Absolutely.
Absolutely,
I love it.
absolutely.
I love it. Okay, Mr. John, this is the last one. And it
Final
says,
question. Okay.
yeah, it says it's really a topic that says, be patient in love. Most of the information boys have about girls is wrong, wrong, wrong. It's based on stereotypes, rumors, bad songs, shallow teen movies, and immature celebrities and personal tailspins. The worst thing you can do in looking to find a significant other is to try to change yourself into something you're not, just because you think that's what girls are looking for. It doesn't work. The best way to get an idea of what's attractive to girls is to talk to them. Like a girl, get to know her. Ask her about herself. Then show her you've been listening to what she says. Did she mention a book she likes? Send her an article about the book. It's low key, non stalkerish, and shows you care about what she talks about.
So we talking about some high school kids now.
uh, well, it should be, but come on. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I hear people say a lot of times about things. They say, "Ooh, I don't know what about the children this generation," but come on now. I came up in the 60s and 70s, and I know I did
Yeah.
some stuff.
Come
So
on now.
it
We
ain't
all
no
did.
this generation, it's all generations. You know what I'm talking about?
All
As far as that
generations.
youngest generation, because contrary to what's been taught to us, which ain't nothing been taught on this subject, it's 4 generations at all times.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But people say
20
this
years
generation,
per
like it ain't
generation.
but one
Yeah.
generation, you know. So all of
Yeah.
our generations need proper attention from all of our generations.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
gonna help us help
Patience.
ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Patience and love that's deep. And I'm glad that's the last one for this
Oh
evening,
yeah, that's a good
because
one.
I got something for it too, Brother Great.
Okay, I want to hear this.
It's just like I teach my kids. That's what I want to impart to these children. It's the same things that I teach my kids. And earlier I said, follow your gut. When we're
Mm-hmm.
talking about love, you got to follow your heart.
Okay.
You have to follow your heart. A lot of times we make decisions, just a quick whim of thought in our brain, but that really wasn't what was in our heart. So
Can you
that particular
separate? Can
article,
you separate the heart and the gut though?
well, I would say yes, because when we talk in love, there's different types, but they're using connotations or references about a boy understanding a girl.
Right, right.
So yeah, and you can follow your gut to say, man, I need to leave her alone, but your heart says, she may be the one. So I don't know. What do you think? Can you separate them?
Uh, I think they're intertwined. Actually, that's what
Okay,
I think.
okay,
So to me,
okay.
that means inseparable.
Right, right,
Right, right.
right. Yeah. So I mean, just take your time. Don't rush anything. You are young. You got a whole
Yeah,
life ahead of you.
yeah.
That's my patience and love.
And at the end of the day, I'm thinking, see, we keep talking to the youth through this conversations and topics. We need to, en masse, go where our youth are and talk to
Right,
them in person and
right,
let them see us
right.
and feel us and touch and let them know we care and love them. And that's why we're here and why we're going to keep being here. But I think this
Absolutely.
pandemic thing is about to pass a little bit and we'll be able to get back into the schools. I'm hopeful, but it's
Yeah,
kind of looking
yeah,
like it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh
looking
man,
like it.
that'd be amazing.
Oh, it'd be a blessing because, man, I miss them babies. I
Yeah,
do.
man. COVID crippled a lot of things, but you know what
Yeah.
what I liked about COVID, Brother Gray, is
What's
that
that?
it allowed a lot of us to, just have to sit down somewhere. Like, Big Mama used to say, you can't go to work, you can't go out to eat, can't go to the movies. You gotta, spend a little more time with your kids, spend a little bit more
Yeah,
time
yeah.
with, mom and dad. So your uncles, brothers, cousins. And so, well, really wasn't a whole lot of them, but my immediate family, man, we had some fun during COVID. You hear
Is
me?
that
I
right?
mean,
It
yeah,
seems like,
because they got bored, and we
yeah,
started playing cards, dominoes, whatever. And it just was a good thing out of a bad time.
right. But it seemed like to me also that we kind of had a chance to collectively reset. Like I've
Yeah,
known a lot of
yeah,
black people started a business. They wasn't never in business
man.
before. And I
Yeah,
bet you
yeah.
during that portion, more blacks started business probably I don't know how many years during those
Man,
last
come on.
couple of
What you
years,
talking
man.
about?
So
Yeah,
sometimes blessings come in disguise. Sometimes.
right, right. Sometimes you can get some diamonds out the dirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So,
that's
black people, we
that was
rising, gonna
beautiful.
continue to rise, and we're gonna unite, and then we'll utilize our resources for our own well-being, and then that's when we'll thrive rather than merely survive. That's us. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
I really thank you,
yeah.
Go, for
Oh
coming
man,
in
no problem, brother.
and
Great
helping
salute to
out.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you so much, brother. And I'll
yeah.
definitely be in touch with you soon.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you very much.
All right, brother. Good
Oh yeah. Say y'all, that was a good show. I really enjoyed that, brother. I met him when he was at 15 and now the brother's 47. And wow, just to see a young person that you knew from 15 to 47 and they're doing so well. That's a blessing in itself. For black people, I love you. And we're gonna love each other more and more forever and ever and ever.